Okay, so as I mentioned, I have two of these Andy Hobbies headquarters M8 Greyhounds. So this is the kit I started on, and this is the second one I bought. I think I paid 100 for the first one. I paid 70 for this one. I bought this one just before Christmas last year, so it was $83 after shipping. So, but I paid 70 for the second one, and so I want to build this. The second one is a static, you know, highly detailed hatches open and all that. So you can see that I built up like the dual rear suspension and the front suspension. The front suspension, I have these tiny little, these are like OT-80. It's a very small hex bolts that I bought quite a while ago. And so I have it so, the steering can be, the wheels can be pointed in any direction for a static kit. I assembled the wheels, and I compared one of these to the Toro M16 I have, and they're exactly the same size. So that's why I wish I could have bought, I have images from the website, $16 each for the Toro M16 wheels. So, times 6, it's like 95 and change after shipping. It could have been 105, 110, I don't know, just for 6 wheels. I paid 100 for the kit, and then I was looking on, I went into my AliExpress account. I think I paid, I don't know, about 25 bucks for this. Oh no, for the suspension. And for the 3 differentials, it's a true 6-wheel drive. You can see that, 6-wheel drive. I got this gearbox, it's got the shaft sticks out both ends to drive it. And so I got it mounted on this aluminum channel. And I can chop the height of this down where I need to. But right now I need to make, and I got my servo all mounted on this for the front steering. The only thing I don't like about this differential is how big and clunky the I don't know, the drag link or whatever you want to call it, to steer it. It's kind of big, and sadly you're gonna probably see that in the front of this, So I need to cut some out of this frame here so I can mount this gearbox and motor. That's pretty much where I am now. I have to modify the frame I got for the gearbox and the motor. And I have to make mounts to attach the leaf springs. So that's where I am right now. I do have a lot of pictures of assembling this, and different stages of like I bought the differentials first, and then I bought the that suspension there. This is kind of like a seesaw suspension. It's kind of like what the World War II deuce and a half American trucks were like. And the M8 is definitely not like this. The real M8. But I thought that would be a good suspension instead of just leaf springs. The good thing about this is the center distance of the differentials is virtually identical. Okay. So, the frame kind of like goes in here from the bottom. And so I need to make like some cross braces to mount the chest, like the body, I'll say, to the frame. And so I had to cut quite a bit out of the front to get the this differential to be on the right, in the right position, So So I probably need to cut a little more out of the floor so I can make the mounts for the leaf springs. So okay, so this is video's getting to be a bit long. I just wanted to show this in the beginning of my thread, and then I can go back, because I was working on this in 2025, and then I had something else I had to make. I do some woodwork sometimes. I broke off of this, went on to some woodwork, and then I got the M24, and I even bought one of Andy's. I got his M10. His M10 tank, but he calls it the Achilles. The Achilles was the British version, and Andy sells it as the M10 Achilles. So it's kind of, But I got the Achilles. I was thinking to do the hole up, hold the turret and everything, and then even try to put a gear on it to rotate the turret. And I was thinking to just drop that on a Henlong M4, the lower, So I got a lot of ideas, and anyway, so I'll stop this video, and then I'll stop my build thread, and I'll start off at the beginning, like assembling this, showing when I got the differentials. But I was asked, I said that I'm not going to put a control board in this. I'm just going to use a regular RC, radio transmitter and a receiver, and I just need one ESC for the motor. And I don't care if it has sound. Geez, it'd be great if you could make this turret rotate, but there's not a heck of a lot of room. And the back, I'm thinking to make like the engine covers would lift off, so you can put your battery in there. Probably with some magnets like I did on the M24. This new battery location. So I'd have magnets. I could just take the cover off, change the battery, and just one servo here and one ESC to control the thing. So it's a pretty simple RC vehicle. But the tire combination, I spent $100 for the whole kit, okay, and then I just couldn't see spending $100 for the 6 tires, from the M16, $16 each. Now I'm kicking myself because I didn't buy them. I got 2 sets of, regular RC truck tires. I'm gonna pause this. Okay, so I got 2 sets of these, so I have 8 of them. And so, you only need 6 for the M8, right? And so these are virtually identical to the size of the correct tire wheel combo. I think they're about 1 millimeter taller. But of course they're much wider, And so and these are like the hex drive for these axles. The first set of tires I bought were too big. And I got all these things from AliExpress. I quickly learned that you have to look for sellers that tell you the OD of the tire, the outside diameter of the tires. As the first ones I bought, they had the correct hex drive, but it didn't say how big the tires were. And so, but they were fairly inexpensive, so I figured, these would be great. They say they're 1/16, but yeah, 1/16 is just a relative size, right? Yeah, maybe they consider them 1/16, but they were bigger tires. But anyway, and these things, they're soft rubber. There's no air in there. It's just that the bead, after it's on the wheel, holds it up. So I don't know. I don't think those would look bad. They're not exactly the same as this wheel, but they look okay. So that's what I ended up with. I paid maybe $10 for 2 sets of these. It was a great deal instead of paying $100 for the proper ones that I really wish I got. So anyway, 10-minute video.